Hello, everybody. I am Jackie Cox, founder of ACE Community, which is adventure, creativity, and enjoyment. And I'm super excited. I have Phaedra Chojnacki here with Food Boards. So welcome, Phaedra.
Hi, Jackie.
Yes,
So glad to be
welcome.
here.
Yes, we're just so excited to have you. And so Phaedra we're chatting today. She is one of our amazing sponsors for our adult camp experience coming up. And this month we're going to camp. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We've waited since November since I first announced it. And now we're finally going up to camp at Snow Mountain Ranch in Granby, Colorado. And Phaedra is going to be helping us with she's going to lead the way with an awesome cooking class. And so she'll be able to share what she's working on and some of her dip mixes that she worked on. And we'll have an awesome meal and a very interactive session while we're doing this. And so Phaedra, I'm super excited that you're one of our sponsors as well, and one of our amazing campers that's going to be along with us for the whole ride. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. And so I'm going to introduce Phaedra here today, and then we're going to have an awesome conversation of where she's come. She has done so much in the almost 2 years that she's been in business, and she has been a foodie her whole life for the most part. And so I'm super excited to be welcoming Phaedra for today. So please welcome Phaedra Chojnacki. She's the owner and founder of Food Boards. Creating carefully crafted boards for others is her heart's way of speaking. Her love for food and feeding people started in her mom's kitchen when she was only 4 years old. I love her story. Phaedra planned to be a child psychologist, but life had a more delicious path for her and your taste buds. The summer after she graduated high school, she stepped foot into a restaurant job and never looked back. Ever since I've known you, Phaedra, I feel like we've been talking about food along the way. Like you've always been in this space, so that's pretty awesome. With over 30 years of experience in the culinary world, spanning restaurants, bars, grocery stores, and travel, Phaedra understands what it takes to bring a smile to people's faces with every bite. Cheese and charcuterie are the foundation of what she creates, but Food Boards has much more to offer. Phaedra is always cultivating new inspiration for an exciting palette of possibilities to keep your boards bold and lively. She savors every moment she gets to share her food with you and your loved ones. So welcome, Phaedra.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so
Yeah.
excited for camp.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we have waited a long time for camp, and it is finally coming up in 2 weeks now at this point.
I
So
know.
it's yay, I'm so excited. And I have been visioning this for so many months, and I know it's going to be awesome. And my goal for everybody is just to have an amazing experience, shared experience together that, you can get into deeper friendships, deeper connections, have some awesome, incredible activities and fun along the way, and then learn from our sponsors and speakers who are helping us with business building for our businesses as well. And so, hey, you know what? Those that are coming on board, they can write off the trip, which is awesome.
No, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, yeah. So Phaedra, tell me a little bit more about you and how you really got into the food space. I love that you have your mom as your foundation
Mhm.
and inspiration originally, but I would love to hear how this really originally started for you.
Yeah, so just to expand on that background a little bit, I did
Yeah,
I did start cooking at 4. That was what
that's
I
so awesome.
wanted to do. And then so growing up every night, once I was done with my homework, I would go to the kitchen and my mother and I would work on dinner together. And so that's where I
Oh,
really learned how to cook and how to explore with, different spices and seasonings and all that stuff. And then
yeah.
I like to say I've always been a student of my profession. My mentor, Brian James, that was a very important thing that he always stressed to us when we worked together. And it's just kind of something I did naturally. I've always
Mm,
dived into cookbooks and I read them like some people read, fiction or nonfiction.
oh, I
And
love it.
I like to get in the kitchen and play and do all sorts of things. And so when things shifted and changed in my life and gave me the opportunity to do my own thing. I took a beat and worked past some imposter syndrome and really thought about what I wanted to do, and ended up here because I do put a lot of my heart and my soul and my spirit into my cooking. So it's not something I wanted to do for all the masses all the time. And so I think I've found a good happy medium with the
Love
handcrafted
it.
things that I offer alongside with the assembly,
Yeah.
part of things. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so, where does the inspiration? I mean, so as you know, I'm not amazing in the kitchen. It's not where my creative genius zone is, but yours is. And so, how do you come up with the inspiration for these different spices and the different, elements of what you're making and how you present them? How do you come up with the inspiration behind that? Is it really trial and error, or is it really what you kind of like and you lean in on that?
It's a little bit of both. I do constantly try new things in new restaurants. I do tend to focus more on the independent family owned places versus the
Yeah,
chains, because that's where you get more of that farm to table experience. That's where
sure.
you get more of that creativity using more seasonal items. And so that's something that's really important to me. And just
Yeah.
traveling and trying new things and going, oh, well, what if I put this with this? What would that do? And
Yeah.
my brain is always, it's always really busy up here, which
I bet.
can be good and bad depending on the situation. But I would say there's always, some part of my brain that, whether I realize it's doing it or not, is probably, simmering on new ideas and things. And then, I'll check and see if someone's done it before and maybe go, okay, well, great, I can use this technique, and then I'll put my own spin on the ingredients or whatever, and
Oh, I love
kind of experiment and play from there. And yeah, some things are flops. It's not like they're always great first
that.
time off the bat. Um, there was
Yeah.
one thing that we tried cooking for dinner a couple weeks ago, and we ate it one night, and we tried to improve it the next night for leftovers, and we were like, yeah, no, this just isn't. It's not it. It is not
And
it.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so even we have issues with
oh, yeah.
with food at times. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's, just the different sometimes the different spices didn't work together, or the different sauce with this spice or what have you.
Yeah.
Now again, I'm speaking through you a little bit because for me, I'm a measurer. I grew up baking and I love baking, but and so baking is chemistry, right? And so because of that, that translated for me to cooking. So I measure everything when I try a new
Sure.
recipe. I measure everything because I really like that base foundation of knowing what it should taste like, right? Which I know is
Absolutely.
bonkers because Jeff's like, just throw it in there, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, how do you get past some of that where it's like some of the recipes are calling for certain measurements or certain things, but yet you're like, no, I know I can do this differently. How do you get past and through that?
For me, I had a really good foundation for that, because that was how
Yeah,
my mother cooked, right? It was just,
sure.
okay, it's these seasonings and we're just going to keep adding them until it's right. Which really isn't helpful for people who didn't grow up in a house like that. That being said, I think we all have certain flavors that we know we like better than others, right?
Sure.
Like some
Sure.
people really love garlic. Some people really hate onions. There's that half of the population that thinks cilantro tastes like soap,
Right.
right? So knowing
Right.
what you like, and then, like, I would say leaning into those flavors and going, okay, I can look at this recipe and go, they're calling for 2 quarts of stock and the recipe only calls for half a teaspoon of salt. That's not going to be enough, and
Ah,
so you can kind of, looking at volume of one thing versus the other, kind of judge it that
oh,
way and get a little more experimental with the amount that you're adding. Now, where that style of
interesting.
cooking comes in tricky for me is when I am developing recipes, because then I have to sit there and every time I add it, I have to measure it out and make note of it. So I know when I type up the recipe, I combine everything and I can provide measurements, because you can't post a recipe on a
Yeah.
blog that just says, add garlic.
Right. Right. Right, exactly. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, and so how did the whole I mean, charcuterie boards are so amazing and you're right on point right now for sure. How did
Mhm.
that piece come out of all of this of being able to, create kind smaller to start with, but now you're on a bigger scale too, but smaller type of boards for people to help them enjoy and entertain and things like that.
So that's always been something that I've really enjoyed and appreciated is good
Okay.
cheese, good cured meats. My dad's always been a massive cheese aficionado, especially
Oh.
for like the super sharp cheddars. So, getting exposed to that when I was younger and then kind of growing
Mm,
as I grew in restaurants and in my culinary journey,
sure.
I just kind of kept trying new things. And and I think that's a big part of it is the willingness to be
Mhm.
open to new items and new foods and new experiences, even if
Right.
it's something you've tried before and didn't necessarily like. We as humans, our bodies are always renewing, cells are dying, and we basically every cell in our body
Yeah.
is regenerated every 7 years. So
That's
every
true.
7 years, we're a whole new person, which means we
That's
have new
true.
taste buds, we have a new palate, things shift and change, and things that you liked when you
True.
were a child, you maybe don't like now. And,
Yeah.
sugar might not be as big of a thing or whatever. And
Yeah.
so reminding myself of that and then trying things that I didn't necessarily like before keeps expanding the things that I'm open
Nice.
to and enjoy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way to put it. Well, and then there's so much levels of creativity on that board too. I mean, you make it so aesthetically pleasing, and it not only looks amazing, it tastes amazing as well. And so, how did you? I mean, that's a really interesting talent to have both of those, where it's like, I know the recipes that are going to go well together, I know the items that are going to go well, and now you make them aesthetically pleasing. Like, that's a good, really amazing talent. How do you feel like that came about for you?
I just I when I was a child, right? Like if I would, for example, open a bag of Skittles, right? Like I would break them down into piles by all the different colors. Like I would sort them out so that I could kind of evenly, like I could eat the ones I didn't like the best
Right.
first
The green
and save the
ones.
best for last. But then I would also like experiment and make like weird little combinations of the different flavors
Oh,
or whatever. And so I think kind of starting with that aesthetic of breaking things down, and playing with different shapes and sizes once you're
yeah.
actually playing with food. And I do take inspiration. There's a
Mhm.
lot of different charcuterie and food accounts that I follow
Okay.
where I get ideas to create my own recipes or
Yeah.
go, oh wow, that's a really cool way to do a board. um
Yeah.
I just got an order for someone's baby shower and they're doing that Harry Potter themed. So I was looking
Oh,
up ways to kind of like incorporate that into the board.
I love
Um,
it.
yeah, so I think it's simply part of the way that I'm always looking at food and looking at blogs and checking new recipes
Yeah.
and all of that stuff and seeing, oh, well, that's a new way to do that. I never thought of that before. Let's try it.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
love
it's
it.
just kind of constantly evolving and learning new
Learning.
things.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is amazing. That's what makes you an incredible business professional as well, because you are constantly evolving and you're willing to go with trends and things like that in seasons. I know you've done some of the pumpkin, like the cheese pumpkin, the display board, and then you have your holiday stuff coming out. So you recently did a grazing board. You were telling me about that. So tell me,
I
like,
did.
how did that go for you? Tell our audience how that went for you, as far as being able to set it up and make it aesthetically pleasing still. And
So that was a really fun experience. It's something that's been on the table and that I've kind of vaguely been offering. And this lady sought me out. She had experienced a grazing table at a fundraiser and wanted to do one for her husband's 40th birthday. And it was like the perfect entry point for me because it was a group of 20.
beautiful.
And so I kind of did some digging and research on the back end of things, which is also part of what I like. I did spend a lot of time in admin in my time in restaurants. So, the
Sure.
spreadsheets and the costing and the calculating portions and all that stuff, I have a little nerdy aspect around that as well, which I think also helps a lot. And so I calculated it out and I was like, and then I researched different ways to get it set up because I know refrigerated food can only sit out for a certain period of time. and I know what the FDA recommends versus like what the
Sure.
health department requirements are,
Sure.
etc. And that's all boring stuff. But at the end of the day, the longer it takes me to set up a table, the less time the food is safe for my
Sure.
clients and their guests and loved ones to consume. And so that was
Sure.
really top of mind for me,
Yeah.
um, was to have them be able to enjoy this experience longer. And so I kind of found this video where someone was showing them setting up a table, and they had put the liner paper inside of big full sheet cake boxes where they
Perfect.
just had all the food assembled on that. And so I was able to slide it out of the box onto the table and trim the extra part of the paper, and then kind of add in some extra product that I brought on the side that was part of the board in order to make it look like a full assembled thing when it
Yeah.
actually came in pieces. And
Yeah.
so that's really fun. And it, I can just use however many boxes I need to for larger
Sure.
parties. So it was really
Yeah.
fun. And then waking up yesterday and finally getting onto email and going, something just told me to check work email, even though I really try not to on my days off.
Sure.
And I did, and she had emailed early, in the morning and said, "Oh my God, everything was amazing. Everybody loved it. It looked
Oh.
great." And so that's the part that I really like. Is, I like to say that I help people make fancy easy. Um,
I love that.
and so knowing that people, enjoy and appreciate and had a
Mhm.
good time with the food is what makes me happy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good. And what a great testimonial for you to wake up to and, get get checked out and that's awesome. I mean, that just proves that you're doing the things that you're passionate about and you're doing it in a way that does come truly from your heart and we can feel that. I feel it every time that I mean, you've done a charcuterie board workshop for us with Ace Community. You'll be doing a cooking class. And so I feel that from you. And I feel it every time I see you at a vendor show as well, or at eWomen or whatever. You're the love and attention that you put into your table and the conversations you're having with people, you can feel your passion. And I think that that is so commendable because it's amazing. I think you have grown so much in these last few years of really focusing on this part of your next chapter in your business right now and it's just I'm proud of you and where you've come and how far you've come and just
You.
you put yourself out there and you're willing to try new things with your clients and for your clients and I love that.
Hmm.
That's nice
Thank
work on
you.
that. Yeah, absolutely. And so you're going to be doing a cooking class for us at camp. And so what are you most excited about with that piece of it? You don't, I mean, you can give us as much information as you want, but you don't have to dive into it too much of what you're going to do in each of the steps. But what are you most excited about that particular class for it?
First off, I'm simply excited to be doing a cooking class. It's not
Yeah.
something I kind of foresaw. And originally, when, we talked about me sponsoring at camp, I kind of had in mind like a more general workshop demonstration type experience. And then you were like, "Oh, I was thinking you could make it dinner that night." And I was like, "Oh, well, this is new and this will be fun." Which I love because, like, you're very, we're both creative in our own ways. And
Yeah.
so you have these creative ideas that are kind of concepts of things for my business that either I haven't done before or are on my list. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing it now. Which is great because, like, you provide these opportunities and you provide a safe space for me to do them in, and I really appreciate and enjoy that. And so the cooking class is really, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun with this
Yeah.
particular group of people.
Yes.
It'll be a very, easy way for me to do my first one because I know everyone there. So that's an added benefit. It
Yeah.
kind of reduces the nerves of the situation. But it gives me, I was like, what could I do for this? I want to highlight my products.
Yes.
And so I pitched you some ideas of different menus where I
Yes.
can incorporate my different dip mixes in kind of all the components. And then you picked one using the Fiesta dip. And so I
Yes.
did some shopping yesterday, and there was one item I couldn't find that I'm hoping I can find today. and that'll be dinner tonight. I'll be doing the test menu
Oh,
for the
nice.
event, so then we can kind of, you know, revise the recipes as needed and get that nailed down. So
Love it.
yeah, it's just it's fun, and I like to, you know, that's one of the things that I want to do with those dip mixes is highlight
Mhm.
that versatility. It's not only for dip. There's so many different things you can do with them, and I'm always developing new recipes utilizing them. So this just kind of gave me an opportunity to do like a
Yeah.
whole batch around one dip mix in one fell swoop, which is kind of like a win-win, right? Because
Yeah.
it's two great assets for my business. I can go, okay, we can do these private cooking classes moving forward, and
Sure.
also here's all these new recipes I can put on my blog.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it was interesting because, I know, we were going back and forth on email communication and we were like, let's have a brainstorming session, no problem. And then, I was like, well, I think because we're a crowd of 13, I think this could be a good possibility, or this could be a good possibility. I think there were a couple things. It was like Italian and then the Fiesta style. And then you came back with this menu, these four amazing menu items. I was like, well, these all sound awesome, but I'm going to narrow this down. And then the fact that you were like, "Oh, I'm going to incorporate my dip mixes," and I just thought that was genius on your part, because again, I'm not in your business, and so I didn't think of that aspect of it, but you did, and it's perfect because why wouldn't you do that, right? And so, I just thought it was so brilliant on your part that you're like, well, we could do this, but here are my dip mixes that go along with each of these recipes. And I thought, oh, and you made it so easy for me then. I was like, we didn't have to brainstorm much at all. You did it. You did it. It was so beautiful. And
Yeah.
so kudos because like I said, I'm not in your business every day. And so the fact that you were like, no, we're doing this, we're incorporating it. Perfect. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome. And what a great way to then get your name and your brand out there even further, and especially as a
Mhm.
sponsor for this particular event. So I know everybody's going to have a fun time with it. I mean, of course, by the end of the day, and at that point, we may have some libations going on and having a lot of fun just with it and just being together. I think that that's the key piece of it, is this activity is going to be so interactive together. And I'm so excited and looking forward to the conversations and you being able to talk about why these creations came about and things like that, and whatever else you're going to talk about during our cooking class. Like, I just think it's going to be so awesome for them to all experience this with you leading us, and Jeff and I will be your sous chefs.
Yay. Well, and the group some too, I'm sure.
Yeah, yes,
We're going to pull everybody
exactly.
in to
So
participate.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so, other than the cooking class, is there something else that you're really looking forward to with camp coming up since you're one of our amazing sponsors?
So my contribution to the goodie bags is going to be one of my new products. I have two
Sweet.
new dip mixes I've developed that I've been holding off on releasing because I was
Yeah.
waiting for the new logo and all that stuff. And so it's either going to be my new ranch dressing dip that I created myself, or the green chili ranch dip.
Ooh.
Hmm.
All
Yeah.
right.
So it's gonna be one or the other, or maybe both. We'll see.
Yes. That's
Hmm.
awesome. Well, I love that. That's actually good to know because I will be providing, during most of our snacks and things like that, I've got veggies that I'm going to include in there as well. And so that's good to know that there's going to be a dip mix in there because then I don't have to worry about that. I'll just take it out of my bag.
There you go.
My goodie bag. So that's awesome. And so tell us a little bit, where is your business going? Like, what's the vision for the rest of 2025, but then also starting in 2026? What's the big grand vision for food boards?
So the vision for 2025, I have some nostalgic kind of vintage, kind of, take you back to your childhood memories of Christmas. That's
Yay.
sort of a menu that I've developed for some special offerings for the holidays. I will have the
Yay.
pumpkin cheese ball again
Yes.
this year because you can't not do it. It's just so
Right.
fun, and it's pretty. And so I'll be doing that. I have a lot of vendor events lined up, and I have one this weekend that I'm participating in. I have one at the end of the month. I don't think I have anything in October, which is fine because
Sure.
November is jam packed for some reason this year. Almost all of the holiday vendor events are in November, and then I have one on the 6th of December, and then after that, I'm not finding anymore. So then I will also be
Right.
doing a holiday themed workshop with dips and cheese balls and arranging your charcuterie and veggies and all that stuff around that. So that'll be really fun. That'll be on December 13th, just in time for everybody to get ready for their Christmas holiday entertaining. And then next year, January is always a slower
Yeah.
season in the food industry. Everybody kind of blows their budget on Christmas and holiday entertaining, and so I get to take a breather. And so that's going to be a foundational period for me to figure out
Yeah.
specifically what those next steps are. I do want to host workshops more regularly. I
Yeah.
do a longer term goal is to open my own storefront. So finding
Oh,
like a closed, kind of smaller independent coffee shop or something that has a lot of the equipment I already need in
sure.
there. And then turning that into a place to host workshops and be open and sell, cheese and meats and stuff, a few days a week and that sort of scenario.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And then maybe start developing some more cooking classes because
yeah.
that would be super fun.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah, you have a lot that is on the vision for you, which I love. And I love it because that's how you continue to evolve. I mean, Food Boards is going to continuing to expand and your new website is beautiful. So foodboards.com and it's Phood boards.com is where
Mhm.
you can find Phaedra. And is that the best way to find you? Is your
That
website?
is the best way to
Yeah.
find me, and the easiest way to get communication to me if you're interested in a board. I
Okay.
also have on the homepage of that new website, there's a link when you scroll down a little bit to what kind of board are you, figure out your
Ah,
board archetype
oh, I love
quiz.
it.
So that's really fun too. And so yeah, you can contact me through the contact form on the website, and then also on my social media on
Okay.
Facebook and Instagram under Food Boards, and you can contact me there too if you don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable with email. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So again, food boards with a Phood boards, plural.com is the best way to find Phaedra. Phaedra, thank you so much for taking the time with me today. It's been awesome. I mean, I am not great in the kitchen, but I love being able to feel this inspiration and creativity from you and people like you that are in the kitchen a lot and actually enjoy, bringing good food to your people. So thank you so much for taking the time. And again, thank you for being a sponsor for Adult Camp Experience coming up in September. And then for those that are watching that are interested, I know camp is filled, which is amazing. But if you want to check out our next meeting for ACE community, we are meeting we meet October 15th. We normally meet on the first Wednesday of the month, but we meet October 15th is our next one, 4 to 6 p.m. at Bucket List Tavern in Castle Rock. So check us out at ace-community.com. So thanks everybody for watching today, and make sure to get in touch with Phaedra at Food Boards. So have a great day, everybody.